We'll get you a better one. We got people who...
Trustee Hewitt. Let's bring the April 10th, 2023 Village Board meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Washburn,
Here.
Batia,
Here.
Hewitt,
Here.
Clausen,
Here.
Doxy,
Here.
DeGroot.
He's here. And let's move on to Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's move on to public comment. Members of the public are welcome to provide comments on any matter. Please listen for the president to recognize you. State your name and address for the public record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. I have nobody signed up for public comment. Does the clerk have anything? Nothing from the clerk. Anybody out in chambers? Nobody in chambers wishing to speak publicly. So we can close public comment, and we'll move on to the next item, consent agenda. Trustee Hewitt.
I make a motion to adopt the items on the consent agenda.
Second.
So I hear a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So that matter carries. So let's move on to new business. We have community development discussion, possible action of the development agreement with Heartland Property, Mount Pleasant LLC.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve a development agreement with Heartland Mount Pleasant LLC as presented, subject to minor revisions, accepted by the village attorney.
Second.
So I hear a motion and a second. Discussion regarding the development agreement. We did hear about this in great length and over a period of a couple of different meetings and COW just recently.
I don't have any questions. I'm very excited about the project and to see that style of living and the ability for the senior living to come to our community. Desperately needed and very welcome. A wonderful developer that has a very good track record, not only in the state of Wisconsin, but the state of Florida and others. So very exciting to have them choose Mount Pleasant as the community that to live in.
So along with Heartland, it's my understanding that Three Leaf Partners are the player in this, and we're told that Pat Connington, who was a player with Milwaukee Bucks, is a significant part of this. And so again, it's kind of a new kid in town doing a development proposal that's needed and very cool.
I talked to some members at Roma Lodge a few weeks ago, and they were actually excited about this too.
Well, if there's elderly Italian people that are moving in, they've got kind of a fresh meat for new members. That's right. So in the matter of the development agreement, Heartland Mount Pleasant LLC, roll call, please.
Washburn,
Aye.
Batia,
Aye.
Hewitt,
Aye.
Clausen,
Aye.
Doxy,
Aye.
DeGroot.
Aye. Motion carries. Item B, discussion possible action with the revised development agreement with Highway 20 and 90th Street Development LLC.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve a revised development agreement with Highway 20 and 90th Development LLC as presented, subject to minor revisions,
Second.
accepted by the village attorney.
Second.
Motion and a second. And Mr. Schultz, these minor revisions are just joggling some unit sizes and such things?
Correct. The developer revised their site plan and modified some of the buildings, as well as really over the winter, they needed to modify some of the zoning to accomplish that over the winter. So in lieu of that, we're amending the development agreement to move their projected start date back to August 1st. It's likely they'll start far before then, but we're just given a little bit of wiggle room. This agreement was subject to closure before that. So this should help them get underway and get their project off the ground.
Very exciting.
Again, as we talked at the COB meeting, the revised agreement was reviewed by the planning commission and approved. It looks good, don't have any comments. The whole planning commission was in favor of that, and that's about it.
Good.
I really don't have any comments. It's a good developers agreement, and obviously it's an extension of the project. And I'm not going to bring up the past. I really, in a couple of prior meetings, we had public comment from the public, or comment from the public about not knowing about it and being surprised with it. And this project is a second phase. It's ongoing. None of those people are here tonight, so obviously they've accepted the fact that this is ongoing. But this was not a secret. This was not something that we pulled out of our hat. Long planned for, and we appreciate the Vanguard Group and their patience for some of the things that were said. And we, because this is a wonderful project, and we are very happy to have them in our community.
And necessary, because they get filled as soon as they're built.
Especially with the new company coming in to TID 5. I think they'll be even more appreciated.
Would that be Microsoft?
I believe it begins with an M and ends with a T. Yes, Microsoft. Yes.
Who'd have thunk it?
Well, that will be the first of many more to come, right?
That's right.
Yes. Very exciting time for the community. So thank you to the Vanguard Group for being part of it.
So on the matter of the revised development agreement, roll call, please.
Washburn,
Aye.
Bhatia,
Aye.
Hewitt,
Aye.
Clausen. Aye. Doxey.
Aye.
DeGroot.
Aye, motion carries. So item C is discussion possible action of the development agreement with BREG Pike River LLC, commonly, more commonly known as Bear Development.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve a development agreement with BREG Pike River LLC as presented, subject to minor revisions accepted by the village attorney.
Second.
So I hear a motion and a second. Mr. Schultz?
This is a development agreement that'll allow for a pay-go arrangement for a new mixed-use subdivision at 31 in KR. The subdivision will include a mixture of single-family, duplex, multifamily, commercial, and mixed-use building lots, so a little bit of everything across the entire subdivision. The Phase 1 plat was approved by the village board, and the developer would like to get started right away. Again, this is a pay-go arrangement. The current value for the public improvements is about $11.1 million. With interest over the life of the TID, that equals about $22 million. There is a look-back provision in this as well, as is standard per our subdivision agreements when they reach stabilization of the phases. So.
Any further thoughts from trustees?
Mr. President, one of the things about the Pike River Crossing development as a whole is that and the one on Spring Street that we're going to talk about are both two of the first developments to come into the community that are utilizing the new zoning code to the max. And I remember being invited to, as a developer in the community at that time, I was not a trustee, when we were rewriting the zoning code, and Sam and Robin, and we were all discussing it with our consultants with Lakota, and I was skeptical, wasn't I, Sam? I was like, this is very Madison, this is very uptown, this is so sophisticated. implementation, who's gonna build it? But we worked through that, you know. I may have been skeptical, but I was optimistic because it's exactly what we needed in order to be able to work with the housing studies that had been done. We were so short on housing with the cost of infrastructure going up. So I'm really proud of these agreements for the village because they're utilizing our new zoning code, showing that it can be built, showing that it can be done. And I'm really looking forward to seeing these properties break ground and be able to drive through and see the units. And I hope all of us, as time goes on, will visit their models and so forth. But good job, Sam. The code worked. And it was a big step for the village. That was a big change in code. So anyway, again, just acknowledging that it's, we're putting it to good use and creating lots of value, wonderful housing, and developing all over the community at this point. Thank you.
Well, it's a recognition that land costs are going up, that construction costs are going up, and to anybody looking at any sort of a entry level type living ownership, they're priced out of the market. And so that's why we did, take a close look at our codes and our ordinances, and what can we do to make this work, because not everybody can come to Mount Pleasant, as beautiful as it is, and spring for a $500,000 house.
Well, and I think this site also takes into account the element of combining the commercial, first floor commercial with the second floor apartments. It's really a planned unit development, and as far as this community is concerned, it's one of the first ones. It is one of the first ones that has all of those elements. So, and it is driven by cost and interest rates, and it's right on the Pike River corridor. So all of the time and effort the village has spent in the last 25 years developing that corridor, now we have housing that's right on it and going to be able to overlook it as well as enjoy it. So it's really a great development. I'm very proud to have it in our community.
Cool beans. So in the matter of the development agreement with BREG Pike River LLC, roll call, please.
Washburn,
Aye.
Bhatia,
Aye.
Hewitt,
Aye.
Clausen,
Aye.
Doxy,
Aye.
DeGroot.
Aye, motion carries. So let's move on to item D, which is discussion possible action of the development agreement with Leo at Mount Pleasant LLC.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve a development agreement with Leo at Mount Pleasant LLC as presented, subject to minor accepted changes by the village attorney.
Second.
So I hear a motion and a second. Back to Mr. Schultz.
This is a 374-unit cottage-style, single-family and duplex rental product that is out along Spring Street, out near the interstate, adjacent to Racine Bible Church. This agreement will provide for about $7.5 million of pay-go assistance for the public improvements for the project, which include the extension, creation of multiple public streets and associated utilities, including sewer and water. So really serving this site and all of the adjoining sites, many of which are in TID 7. This is also bringing forward Carrington Boulevard from where it dead ends at the hospital site northward. So that's bringing a collector-sized public roadway northwards as well. And it also relates to the next agreement on the agenda, but coordinates with some of the things under the consent agenda as well. So all of the adjoining property owners are dedicating land for the extension of these public streets and utilities. So really, you have this property, and this agreement is helping this property get underway, but this developer is providing for a fair amount of local and regional public utilities in the area, and providing 374 units of a different type of housing product that has been gradually making its way into southeast Wisconsin. Isn't super popular yet, but across all these agreements, we have senior rental, we have owner occupied and duplex and single family, and we have 2-story multifamily like 26-unit buildings as part of the Vanguard. And then as part of this, we have more single-family duplex-style rentals. So we really have both owner and renter across a variety of building types, which, to Trustee Washburn's point, is a credit of our zoning code. All these developers are doing this by right. They didn't have to ask for special zoning permission or anything else. So we're really, letting the market, in this case, provide a variety of different housing types, and then we're coming in on the assistance side to help them provide, for local and regional utilities and roadway extensions that should benefit all the adjacent property owners as well, who will not be specially assessed for any of these types of improvements. So it's really a win-win for everyone.
I think in terms of the win-win, Sam's absolutely right. I think in seeing how the pieces of these agreements have come together, they're very complicated. And all the neighbors cooperated, all the property owners cooperated, all the parties cooperated. What a beautiful thing. So, congratulations. Hard work, but congratulations.
And again, it's a different concept. It's something new for this area, based on the code changes, the ordinance changes that we did. This is something, it's new to us, but it's worked elsewhere in the country, so it's not a new concept, only to us. And I'm looking forward to seeing this. It's going to be a cool thing. So in the matter of the Leo agreement, roll call, please.
Washburn,
Aye.
Bhatia,
Aye.
Hewitt,
Aye.
Clausen,
Aye.
Doxy,
Aye.
DeGroot.
Aye. Motion carries. So let's move on to item E, discussion possible action of the land donation agreement with Racine Bible Church.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve a land donation agreement with Racine Bible Church as presented, subject to minor revisions accepted by the village attorney.
Second.
So I hear a motion and a second. Mr. Schultz?
Final agreement for the night. This is in relation to the Leo agreement. Racine Bible Church is their eastern neighbor. Racine Bible Church is agreeing to dedicate the right-of-way, which is their current driveway, into a new public shared street with Leo. So they're both Leo and the church are dedicating land to turn that driveway into a fully functioning public street. They are also agreeing to dedicate the south 8 acres, more or less, of their property to the village as a new public park, which is identified on the village's Parks and Open Space Plan, which the board adopted, the most recent version, in 2021. As a part of that, the village is agreeing to pay for some of their utility connection costs as an in lieu of fee for that park dedication. So we're getting that land at an extreme discount, and also acquiring some land that is identified on our Parks and Open Space Plan. So credit to Racine Bible Church. They've been great partners to work with here through a pretty complex financing and land dedication deal in coordination with a third-party developer who's coming in adjacent to them. So really appreciate Racine Bible Church and the work that they have done and their executive committee have done with us. Couldn't ask for a better local partner on this one.
Mr. President, I've been holding my comment onto this because I like to echo what everyone on this board has already mentioned, along with our Community Development Director, Sam Schull, to bring it all together. This agreement is the agenda at tonight's meeting for all these agreements, whether it's a Highway 20 and the 90th Street, Pike River development, Leo development, and it's not unplanned growth. It's a strategically planned growth where the community is coming together. This agreement with the Racine Bible Church and the other landowners who are donating their lands. And if I go back even to the Heartland, where the assisted living is coming, designing the public pathway where there's going to be a potential for a future park on the north. On the Pike River, on the southeast corner, there's going to be a park and a huge pond. So these are the great examples of everything that we have on the agenda tonight, of the whole village coming together. Thanks to the staff for doing their due diligence. The strategic planning that has gone into this for years and years. Inviting the public to make comments on this planning, and then letting the developers come with a plan saying, according to your comprehensive plan, according to the strategic growth plan, this is what we can bring on the table, and working with the staff to update the codes and have all these agreements, whether it's with the Racine Bible Church or the landowners, who are giving or donating their land. I can't think of anything else which is all the village coming together. And everything on this agenda, item A, B, C, D, E, I wanted to have this, to summarize what a great day for the Mount Pleasant, because we are growing, and we are growing with the help of our community partner, with the help of our business partner, and it's a strategic planning and not just kind of shooting it from the hips. So I'm very pleased, and I'm very humbled to be here, to have the opportunity to be part of this growth plan, and look forward to many more continued growth, strategically planned growth, keeping a balance between the urban and the rural, and also, to add to that, preserving our land, the conservation.
Every time we get into development, the question is always out there, well, what about quality of life aspects? What about open space? Are we addressing that as well? And here we are. We've got a plan that comes together, and the village is going to be gaining a new park out of it. It's as good as it gets. So on the matter of the land donation agreement, roll call, please.
Washburn.
Aye.
Bhatia.
Aye.
Hewitt.
Aye.
Clausen.
Aye.
Doxey.
Aye.
DeGroot.
Aye. Motion carries. And I just want to step back for a second and reflect, and Ron just brought up a couple of good points, but on A, B, C, D, E, I'd like to say that this is just another day at the office for us, but correct me on the numbers here. We just approved, about another $225 million worth of economic development?
That's correct. And about over the multiple phases, including the phases of the subdivision agreement, something like, sorry, I'm just doing some quick math in my head, close to 1,000 new units of housing, which will take time to build. They're not going to all be built tomorrow. It'll be over the next 2 years or so, potentially longer for the phase subdivision agreement, but somewhere between 750 and 1,000 units of housing that'll come online over the next 10, 15 years.
Okay, so this isn't a billion-dollar home run Super Bowl win, but I got to say we're knocking out some singles and doubles tonight, for sure. It's a great day.
And
It's very exciting. It's exciting for us. And thank you, Sam and Robin.
I think the other thing that I think it's very important for us to take into consideration is the timeline.
Yeah.
Some of these projects, the Bear Development Project, has been in the works for over 2 years, from the creation of the TID, 3 years. The Leo Living, we've been working on that for a year.
Mm-hmm.
So these are not things that just come along and get popped out in 30 days or 60 days. These take a lot of time to put together, both on our staff's time, but also on the developer's time. And their money, it's their money that's paying for the engineering and the drawings and all of the things that we require as part of our approval process to back up these documents. And so I think everybody has to be commended, because, you know, we're lucky that people, we're not lucky now, we've earned it, I think. But we've shown the developers that we are a community worth spending that year or two developing in, getting the projects approved. But these things don't just happen overnight. They take a lot of work. Look at the number of agreements on the project out on Spring Street with all the swaps and so forth, and both projects on Spring Streets and road reservations and, you know, all those little pieces. They take a long time to filter through. So none of this is a surprise or coming quickly. They all take a considerable amount of time to put together, and appreciate that.
Agreed. So let's move on to finance, clerk treasurer. We got discussion, possible action on new cigarette, tobacco products.
Mr. President, I make a motion to deny cigarette and tobacco products license for Snaps Restaurant LLC, 2135 Racine Street.
Second.
So I hear a motion and a second. Let's go to clerk first.
Okay, we received an application for Snaps Restaurant, and it's just that, it's a restaurant. They want to sell tobacco at that restaurant, of which you obviously can't smoke in restaurants, so they have not showed up tonight to present any type of business plan as to why they feel the need to add this to their restaurant. I know that we had spoken to Chief Sowens about their concerns in that area, if you want to ask him again. However, if you look at the map even, they are, a block away from the current convenience store that's down there that also sells alcohol and cigarettes and various other things. I think Matt, is it Mead Street Market? Is that what it's called now? I always know it as Baja's, but
I believe it still is Baja.
is it? I thought it was like Mead Street, but anyway, it's literally a block away. So I guess our position, you know, just based on, you know, what they're trying to achieve is being a restaurant, that it just doesn't fit, and that's why I guess we're asking for a denial.
Well, I think that they're just looking for another revenue stream, but it doesn't make a lot of logical sense to sell a product that you can't use on the premise.
Yeah, it's a very, very, I don't know if you've been down there. It's one of the buildings that keeps turning over, and they have made another restaurant, and they wanted to add alcohol to it. We denied that because that was also in close proximity to other things, and now a new owner is trying, you know, making it a restaurant, and now they're always, you know, trying to add another element to you know, their business, but I don't know.
Okay, so the motion is to deny, which means a yes vote means no license.
Right.
So on that matter, roll call, please.
Washburn,
Aye.
Boccia,
Aye.
Hewitt,
Aye.
Clausen,
Aye.
Doxy. Aye. DeGroot.
Aye, motion carries, license denied. So let's move on to item 5, discussion, possible action on the Community Development Summer Intern Position job description.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the Community Development Summer Intern Position job description as presented.
Second.
So I hear a motion and a second. Sam, is that something that you want to pick up on? Or is this Mary's ball? Let's go, Ms. Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President, village board members. We discussed this at the Committee of the Whole meeting on the 27th of March. And just to give a quick summary, we reached out to the UW School, University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee School of Architecture and Urban Planning, to see if they had any interest in letting us host a summer intern. I think, as you can see by the agenda tonight, they have a great workload in that department. We thought this would be a good opportunity to give some real-life work, professional experience to a student in that field, which would be a graduate student or undergraduate student potentially in the urban planning or architecture program, to give them some experience as well as giving some assistance to a department, as you can see, that has a lot going on.
All good?
Good.
Okay, so on the job description, I'm just gonna do a all in favor type. Say yeah. Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, so we've got the job description approved, and so we go to the second part of it, which is the money part. Discussion possible action regarding Budget Resolution 5-2023 pertaining to the Community Development Intern's position.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve Budget Resolution 5-2023 pertaining to the Community Development Intern Position.
Second.
So I hear a motion and a second. Mike?
Yep, so we did speak about this tonight at the COW. This is just getting the money into the correct funds to fund this. Not a whole lot of money that we're talking about here, but, you know, we did add the regular part-time line item to pretty much all of the TIDs. So what this will do is allow us to charge out appropriately as we see necessary, what's justifiable for this position. Again, not a whole lot of funding going on here, but we have plenty to fund it within each of the fund balances.
Good. Okay, so in the matter of Resolution 5-2023, roll call, please.
Washburn,
Aye.
Bhatia,
Aye.
Hewitt,
Aye.
Clausen,
Aye.
Doxey,
Aye.
DeGroot.
Aye, motion carries. Tourism, Trustee Clausen.
Yeah, we had a meeting this afternoon, and there are a number of things coming up. The Great Lakes Watercross special event will be in August. The hotelier meeting is scheduled for the 20th of this month. They're going to gather all of the managers of the hotels and get together on that. So far, everything is going positively. They have a pretty good percent occupancy. One of the other things is junior golf is this month, 4/29 and 30. They have 78 golfers lined up. And then one of the biggest things is the tour bike race that was so popular last year. That's in June, the 21st. And looking forward to August, the Australian football has been booked. So there's a lot of activity going on. And they will be coming out shortly on the strategic plan for Real Racine and how they're moving forward. So we should hear that within the next few weeks.
Good. Any other thoughts from staff, reports?
Mr. President, I'm so pleased to hear that Tourism Commission, we are controlling our destiny. We are deciding how to spend the tax dollars and not just depending upon anybody else to use their money for their marketing or whatever. So I'm very pleased because every time I hear the report from Tourism Commission, my colleague here, Trustee Clausen and Commissioner Clausen, I am overwhelmed by hearing at all these, your bike race and junior golf. Who knows? We may have a next Tiger Woods coming from the village of Mount Pleasant. you never know. But I mean, seriously, it's good to know that your efforts and your money and everything is being spent, taking control of your own destiny of your taxpayer dollars.
Well, not only we're getting more bang for the buck because we don't have the overhead, but it's also far more transparent because people know to the dime what's getting spent and where it's getting spent.
Yeah, absolutely.
On this particular item, I do have a question. The word summer, it gets kind of confusing around here.
What's that?
It may be summer on the calendar, but
Oh. We can't control that, John.
Fair enough. Anybody else? I just had one quick thought. I just wanted to congratulate Trustee Hewitt, Trustee Washburn, Trustee Batcha on reelection to a fresh two-year term.
And to yourself.
And to yours truly for
Mr.
2 more
President,
years
to
as
you also,
president.
congratulations.
Thank you. Looking forward to hitting the street running again. Got more meetings coming. So with that in mind, one last motion.
Mr. President, move to adjourn.
Second.
I hear a motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.